What it is, y'all, it's your old boy Pilkin. I'm coming back today with another Dokkan battle video. Now, I haven't yet talked about this physical Beerus, and this is like a really polarizing unit, it seems. So let's check him out, okay? First things first, leader skill on this guy is, I mean, he's a drop unit. Like, you know, what do you really want out of him? It's actually a bit big. We'll go back to the screen. So he's obviously super physical. Leader skill is planetary destruction. Category key +3, HP attack and defense 80%. So he's a drop unit. You know, he's just not the greatest thing ever. Passive skill. Here's where it gets crazy. Unable to attack. Unable to attack. Boosts zone defense by 150% and reduces damage received by 30%, with damage reduction decreasing by 10% per turn, up to 30%. So that damage reduction will decrease, so his tanking gets worse. However, boosts attack of all allies by 20% during his own attacking turn, with an additional 10 attack boost per turn. So, up to 30%, which literally means turn 2 he's getting what he needs. Changes physical key spheres to rainbow spheres. Defense plus 30% per key sphere obtained. So, essentially, you could really like put this guy in a defensive slot to the moon. Now, here's where it really gets weird. Okay? Active skill awakens from sleep, diverting enemy attacks towards self for 1 turn. In essence, what you have is you have a dude that's literally just here to tank. That's all he's going to do. Is this a unit you're going to use every day? Probably not. Is this a unit you'll use in really hard events to soak up some damage? Potentially. Maybe. He's a weird build, but I get it. And the thing people are all a bit in arms about is that this is Beerus Pajama. Parentheses, Pajama. So this Beerus can be used with any other Beerus in the game. People are mad that Fuzumasu wasn't like that, but he just wasn't. Like, this is a weird, one-off crazy scenario. We've had units similar, but I think it's the first one we have that is pure defense. Pure defense. We have had units with defense with a decent amount of offense, but we've never had a unit that had, like, I think we've had a couple that do no attack, but I don't think anyone were actually intended to be used in battle the way this one is. The only thing that does happen here, like I said, is active skill awakens from sleep, diverting enemy attacks towards self for 1 turn. Can be activated from the start of the 5th turn of battle. So turn 5 you can do it, essentially. But what it's going to do is it's going to absorb all the damage for everybody else on the team. It's not the worst thing ever. It's just a weird choice. So let's check out that the animation on that active skill, because it's interesting. I'll back it up here. So since he doesn't attack, I think this is just the active skill. There we go, yeah. So all attacks are directed at him now. It's like the opposite of the target mechanic. That's crazy. Yeah. So needless to say, a very odd build, nevertheless. Like a weird build. Now, according to my translation here, he doesn't have an attacking phase, but that's obviously wrong because we have an attacking phase in there. This dude's already dropped on JP. He's out there. But global players, this is like the lead into to part 2. Part 2 is coming next week. Right now, this is all kind of like that lead into it. A weird, strange unit. Let me know in the comments down below what you think of this unit. I'm not completely sold. I see the use. Just with everything we have and no guard rate or anything like that, I wonder if I'm ever honestly going to use him. But there might be a way. I can think of several ways where it might be feasible. Just, is there a better unit out there? It's interesting. We'll have to see how this plays out. Like, comment, share. I'll be back with more Dokkan Battle coming up for you guys here real soon.